I'm Richard Lush reporting for cadred.org. I'm here with a face that is no doubt familiar, although maybe his voice is a little bit more familiar than his face. Not me, this guy. It is, of course, the legend, the godfather of esports. It kind of is now. We've got to say that. It's Paul "ReDeYe" Chaloner. You are having a late renaissance, I would say, because you were always the caster, the guy who was behind the desk, analysing the games, providing the soundtrack, if you like, to a lot of our esports memories. Now you're front and centre on a big stage. You are the host. You are, if you like, the public face of the esports event. It's a very different kind of gig. So talk us through that transition.
It's a good question, actually. I haven't really thought about it like that. You often do that to me. It's been weird, really. It's like, you're right, it's been a casting thing. I've done casting for 10 or 11 years or something. I still think of it as like my main thing. I still want to do, I mean, you know, I've loved getting back into Counter-Strike recently. But yeah, it's true. The last 12, 13 months have all been about hosting big events. And I don't know, I guess a bit like casting, really. I sort of fell into hosting by mistake. I didn't really plan to go, yeah, I'm going to be a host of a stage, and I really love doing that. I didn't know I'd like doing it. But I think all those years, schooled at multiplayer LANs over the years, and dealing with all the hecklers and stuff being thrown at me from the crowd, you know who you are. I think that probably trained me for this moment, these moments of coming along to do the bigger stages. So it's almost a bit of a thanks to the guys at Quad V and the guys at Multiplay from previous years to, I don't know, train me in some way to deal with a bigger stage. And last year, just everyone seemed to hire me for stage work, so that's what I did. I still enjoy hosting a stage because you still get the same kick, but nothing can beat doing a 5v1 clutch. I mean, yeah. How much better can that get? So, yeah.
Are there a new set of pressures? Because esports people, the fan base that is, you guys out there, are really brutal in their criticism, and you know, like, do you have to have like a beautician now? Like, are you on a new kind of diet regime? Like a new wardrobe? I don't know, man. Like, you are looking pretty fly. Like, did you have a younger person help pick this out for you or something?
No, luckily not. Although I think I might get Ethier to take me shopping soon because I'm running out of clothes. So.
No, but seriously, I mean, I'm trying to be serious.
I know. But no, it's I don't have anyone helping me. I haven't got, you know. In fact, it's quite funny. The other day, when I worked back for the CGS 6 years ago now, they would send like a black limousine and a driver to pick me up from the airport, and they'd chauffeur me back to my lovely plush $4 grand a week apartment, and I had maid cleaning my room, my house for me, and I had a swimming pool and a gym, and it was ridiculous basically. And I had a pronunciation guy, and I had a beauty person, I had a hair person, I had a wardrobe lady. I mean, it was insane when I think back to it. It was crazy. And I joined ESL, and I've spent 7 weeks with ESL now, and fantastic people to work with. I mean, the people are so passionate about esports. That's the big difference for me, working with people that genuinely love esports every day. They work their asses off, they work really long hours. Nobody sees that stuff. But the one corny thing that happened was that on Monday I get an email saying, would you mind driving one of the vans up to Hanover for us? It's just such a change, isn't it? It's like, okay, yeah. And it's you know, everyone pitches in at ESL. So, yeah, it's different. I mean, your original question about pressure and stuff, for me, it makes no difference. I am the old guy of esports. You know,
older. I mean, there's Scoots. There's Scoots. As long as he's involved, we're all right.
I'm glad you mentioned Scott because yeah, he's slightly older than me by about 25 years. You'll see that and laugh.
Hope so.
No, I think it's like, I think maybe like my gaming experience, my playing experience, and my commentating experience, and the fact that I've been around this for so long has kind of helped me deliver a more mature side of it, and hopefully that helps us as a community be taken more seriously. So if that's what it helps, then great. I'm not setting out to be any, you know, kind of leader for it or anything else, but if that's what it ends up being, then great. In terms of differences and pressures, no, I don't think it's any different to what it's ever been, really. I mean, if anything's changed, it's the fact that I have a multi-purpose job now. It's not just one thing. It's not just hosting. It's not just commentating. It's lots of different things.
What do you make of the prominence of hosts now in esports? Because they didn't exist a few years ago. I mean, like, the idea of having some guy host an event, generally it used to be the guy who was running it might get up and say a few words, let's get some exhibitors on to throw some shit into a baying crowd, and then just pretend it never happened. Now you've got this kind of, you know, a host, a co-host. It's become a very almost like a more visual medium and a lot more kind of high production values. So what do you make of that? Because I mean, like, are hosts really necessary, do you think?
That's a good question. I often look at the older stuff that we did and think back to all the awkwardness that used to happen on a stage and think, actually, we're pretty lucky now. We've got great hosts. We've got Clutch, we've got Rachel, we've got Ephia, and there's plenty of other guys who can stand up there. Day9's great in front of a crowd, DJ Wee is fantastic in front of a crowd. So there's lots of us now that can do that, and many of us have come from the old school of being casters and gone through it. And I think hosts are definitely necessary. I think they help, and I'm not just saying that because I do it, but I think a good host will help glue everything together. They'll make the viewer feel like they're included and they're enjoying what they're doing and they're enthused by what they're doing. And in the same way as the casters enthuse people about a game or a piece of play or a player, the host almost needs to be just as enthusiastic about, they like the game. Someone said to me, why are you hosting League of Legends? You hate the game. I don't hate the game. I play it more than any other game right now. Sorry, CS guys, but I do. I openly admit I play LoL too much, but by the by, I also play StarCraft and I also play CSGO. Does that make me a LoL fan? Does it mean I hate CS? No, absolutely not. So it always amazes me when people say, oh, how can you host a game you don't like? Well, I love lots of games. I play bloody Football Manager. I play StarCraft. I play a MOBA. I play a first-person shooter.
All the Formula 1 games?
All the Formula 1 games, yeah, you had to get that one in. Yeah. Definitely all the Formula 1 games. So I love games. That's it. I've loved games since 1983 when my dad bought me a Dragon 32. I mean, call me addicted. I don't care.
What about the kind of... Because all the hosts now that are good at what they do, they were all kind of thrown into it almost. Like you say, it was a new thing. It happened like almost out of coincidence rather than a kind of necessity or a plan. Yeah. And it was just people who have just, like you said, had that experience. And like Marcus, prime example. You think about all the shit he's took down the years, all the flack that's come his way. Yourself, and Rachel as well. Probably is a good example. Being a woman, to kind of pioneer and step into that. So, how does a young and upcoming host get into it? Because without that experience of like having the hard times and the shit being thrown at you, it must be real fucking daunting.
Actually, I think you're right. I think it's probably tougher than breaking into commentary now. I mean, God knows we need some more casters in CSGO. There just isn't enough people giving it a go. And I think, I don't want to be too hard on the guys out there that watch, but we're pretty brutal, as you said earlier. We don't give anyone a second chance. I was lucky. I grew up in an era where I did radio. I wasn't on the stream so much. We didn't have anyone else doing it for Unreal Tournament when I first started. We didn't have anyone doing it for Counter-Strike Source when I first started. So I was lucky in that people were just thankful to have something there. And I don't mean to demean him, but a bit like Risk has done. He's put an amazing amount of work into CSGO, and people are just happy to have something, to have a stream. But actually, I want to raise the quality of it, and to do that, you need more people to give it a go. And you're not going to get that if we all beat them up every time they go on the stream. So there is a part of me that says, yes, you should absolutely want the best quality. Yes, you should want great commentators and great action, but you're not going to get it straight away. You just kind of need to be a bit more patient with people and maybe not give them such a hard time. And for hosts, I actually think it's almost impossible. I mean, until you asked that question, I hadn't really thought, how would a new guy break into host? That's a tough thing. I don't know.
Well, I guess that puts responsibility on you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a part of
other existing
and existing hosts as well. Yeah, it's up to us to try and help the other people. I mean, I've spent a ton of time with Ephia. She joined ESL 4 weeks ago. We spend time on Wednesdays when she comes back in after the weekend, going through LCS, going through how she presented, how she stands, how she delivers. It sounded like an Adam and Ant song. Crazy one to throw out, wasn't it? We go through pronunciation, we go through what she said, how she said it, intonation, how she deflects her voice, how she throws, how she brings it, everything. Absolutely everything a host needs to learn. We go through that every Tuesday, and we spend a couple of hours in the studio walking through stuff. And every week she goes back out in the LCS, and she's better than she was the week before. And I hope that people have seen that as well. I guess where she started is probably the key. She started on YouTube, she started interviewing players, doing what you've done for years as well, going around finding players and doing the hard 9 yards and getting the players to talk to them, but finding an interesting way of interviewing rather than just how do you feel? Yeah. That must be great.
Those questions rock, don't they?
They're awesome, aren't they? Just absolutely, how do you feel? I've just won £1 million. How do you feel? I feel really bad. Yeah, get them out of that kind of habit, but at least giving it a go on YouTube where there's not as much pressure, it's not live, you can fiddle around with the post stuff, we'll fix it in post, and you can get away with it that way. And that's where ReDeYe's come from. It's where Jason Kaplan's come from.
Yeah.
And those guys, if they get that opportunity to kind of do it in a risk-free environment, then maybe they can then step up and do hosting. Ifya 6 weeks ago was relatively unknown outside of League of Legends. I think that's fair to say. She was well known inside the scene. She was thought of as a good interviewer. ESL pulled her in. We gave her an opportunity with LCS. She's rocked LCS as a host. She's been fantastic. Because of that, she's on the stage here at IEM, and she's going to be doing FIFA next week as well as a host. So that's how to do it. Impress people. Go out there and do some YouTube videos.
So let's talk about the development of the Intel Extreme Masters, ESL in general. Yep. Obviously, they seem to have come out of their financial situation, which I don't think we need to go any more into. I think that's all been done to death. But it's interesting to see now that they're kind of looking to step it up. They've got new sponsors involved, and it must be an exciting time, like a new dawn, if you like, for ESL. Can you tell us a little bit about how you feel about that and being involved in it?
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to take credit for anything because these guys have been working stuff for 12 months or more. Ralph Reitschart approached me last September, before that actually, but September is when we really sat down and talked serious kind of money. Do you want to come and move to Germany? That kind of stuff. And a few of the things were kind of bugging me, and we talked about it very openly. He's a very good guy, very honest. And he persuaded me that the prize money situation was going to be fixed and that they were definitely going to get cleared by first quarter of 2013, which we've done, which I'm really thrilled to have helped a little bit in the background with. But a lot of people worked on that over the last few months, and yeah, we've been horrible in the past at paying out money and not on time, and just a mixture of stuff. You're right, we don't need to drag over it. I think it's great that they've cleared it. I think it's great that we're now up to date and the players can get their money, because that's all I wanted. And yeah, they had, I think Ralph said to me, they had 5 big deals on the table at the beginning of the year, or end of last year, and they said that if they landed 2 of them, they would be happy with that. They'd be good. If they landed 3, they'd be ecstatic, and we landed all 5, which is, it's mind blowing, and it's given us so much work. We're working with ReDeYe Games, obviously, on the LCS Season 3. We're working with Blizzard, obviously, with StarCraft 2. Our ESL TV French people will be at the HOTS launch on Monday. We've also started working with FIFA directly on the FIFA Interactive World Cup, which is Tuesday, and I get to work with Gareth Bale. I'll forgive him for scoring 2 against our team, I suppose, if I can give him a hard time about it. We've got Wargaming, obviously, where we're doing World of Tanks. Yeah, it's just crazy how much work there is going on. And then, of course, we landed ReDeYe as a big sponsor, which allowed us to go and give back to Dota 2 and to CSGO as well, which we're really happy about. I was chomping at the bit. How do I get CSGO and into IEM? How do I do that, Michal? And we've had a few bantery laughs about it, and he basically said if I can get him a stream 75k on, we can have CSGO and IEM. So that's the challenge, guys. 75k.
A long way to go.
We've got a bit to go, yeah. But if we can get there close this year, then great. So yeah, it's a massively exciting time for the company. I'm really privileged to be able to join it at such an amazing point in time, because it is literally luck. I've literally just lucked in at exactly the right time. But I just think it's exciting times for everyone. I mean, I think stuff you're going to hear from DreamHack soon, and MLG as well. They've got some fantastic plans this year, and Blizzard, and it's just such an exciting year. It really is. It feels almost like 2005 all over again.
Well, let's hope it doesn't end up like 2009 all over again, because that kicked some ass.
Yeah.
Not in a good way. But I want to ask you about ReDeYe. You're the guy in the know. There's a lot of people asking questions about it. I mean, they've put so much money into esports. Yeah. People are asking questions like, why would they do that? Is it sustainable? Are they here for the foreseeable? I mean, I think it's admirable to see Arthur out there front and centre dealing with the crowd and taking some lovely comments on the Twitch TV chat. So what can you tell us about ReDeYe? I mean, do you know much about them and their plans?
No, I mean, as a company, I haven't had a great deal of dealings with it. I try and stay out of the business side of it. Sebastian and Ralph deal with that stuff at ESL. We've worked pretty closely with them for the ReDeYe EMS 1, which has been so far fantastic. I know that they've been very pleased with what we've seen, both from Dota 2 and CSGO, and we've got the LAN finals coming up in a few weeks as well. So we're really excited about all that kind of stuff. But you're right, they've supported esports for a couple of years now, a little bit in the background sometimes, obviously with sponsoring teams as well. Still sponsor EG. and I know they're making great strides with them as well. And sponsoring tournaments now like IEM and EMS1 is a sign that they're serious about it. They believe in esports. They think that the demographic suits their product, and I think they're right. I mean, when you look at it, it's free and it's easy to use. I sound like Arthur now, but it really is. And I use it. The guys in the office use it. I think I'm not going to demean it, but it does feel like I'm in a Chinese chat room sometimes. There is a kind of weird Asian feel to it, but it is really good quality. I mean, I like the fact that you can embed a stream and you can have a few mates, create a group, and then you can just sit there and chat without all the rubbish that you get if you're just in a massive room with 50,000 people, and you can actually just chat with mates. How many times have we had like conversations on, we've been on comms and we've been watching a match with something, or we've played together or something. So I think it's got, it's in there with everything else that's in there right now, but what makes it stand out for me is that it's free and it's easy. So
I want to ask you just a little bit. We touched upon it just before about this, golden new dawn approaching. We've talked about you having a golden new dawn, ESL having a golden new dawn, and now we're talking maybe esports in general is going to have that. Yet there are some people who are worried, I think, that eventually the term esports is going to become interchangeable with League of Legends. We're seeing a decline in the streaming numbers in StarCraft 2, and I think because League of Legends have gone to numbers that we never thought imaginable, say 2 years ago even. People are worried that that's going to become the only show in town. What would you say to those naysayers?
I think you and I have been in this business to know that esports is very peaks and troughs. We've had our fair amounts of troughs, no doubt about it, and we'll have another one, I'm pretty sure. I don't know when it'll be, might be next year, might be 5 years from now, might be 10 years from now, but we'll have another one for sure. And then we'll come back even stronger with something else, and it'll be something else that we thought, we didn't realise we could have 1 million people on a stream, and we've got 1 million people, and we'll be laughing at this conversation and going, 200,000 on a stream, that's nothing. I get that streaming my bathroom or something, So I think you're right, 5 years ago, streaming out to any more than 100,000 was thought amazing. I mean, if we got 90,000 on a CS 1.6 tournament, which was the biggest thing back in the day, we were thrilled. We thought that was amazing. And now we're seeing upwards of 300,000 on a stream. We had 327,000 out of Katowice. We're hoping to break 300,000 here at the IEM World Championships as well. But I'm pretty sure that League of Legends is just one game. It's a very good game, it's very popular, but there are other popular games out there. I mean, Wargaming are reporting like 45 million players, and they have a much higher amount of money spent in-game than League of Legends does as well. So they're obviously making a success, and they're making it with a game which potentially and arguably isn't as esports friendly as League of Legends, but they're doing a fantastic job with it. So I don't know what the next big thing is, but I'm pretty sure that League of Legends isn't the only thing. I think there's a place for StarCraft, there's a place for CS, there's a place for fighting games, there's a place for FIFA. We all love what we love, and there'll be if there's an audience, we'll be streaming it. So I think we're fine.
Okay. Last two questions. Sure. We're talking about streaming. You've been involved in television. I do remember a great story about fucking Blake 7 pilot or something, wasn't it?
I never got to do that.
Yeah, I know.
It's been so good.
Right.
So good.
It's something for the older people out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Google Blake 7. They were doing a remake and Paul. Yeah. Fucking tell a story.
Well, no, it was. I was working with a company called Steadfast, which was doing the UK version of CGS, and I think one of the producers on that show was also then told he was going to be working on a new version of Blake 7. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I watched Blake 7 as a kid. I'd kill to be involved in that. And he was like, you can be an extra. Really? I was like, oh, that'd be amazing. So I was going to be an extra in Blake 7 and be a monster or something. I don't even know. It never got that far. But yeah, it never came off. And I was actually quite gutted about it.
No, I felt for you, man. Like, yeah, one of those things.
I could have been a star actor.
But the reason I was talking about that was because look, it's the same old shit. Do we need television? I'm hearing all this stuff about CBS coming, calling. With the streaming revolution being so strong and the numbers being so big, is it not in our interest to remain niche? Do we need to court mainstream attention?
Sure. I was the first guy to stand up in 2006 and 2007 when we were working with CGS and DirecTV and Sky and Eurosport and all the rest of it. And I was the guy standing up saying, this is our big chance. We need to court mainstream TV. We might have to dumb our games down a little bit. I didn't like it, but I accepted that to be mainstream and get the audience numbers in and to be successful, that's what we had to do back then. Now I'm not so sure. I'm allowed to change my mind. So
well, it was a very different time back then as well.
Yeah, and I think now we've got Twitch. We probably need someone to give them a hard time now and again. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the guys at Twitch and they do a fantastic job, but companies are never better than when they've got an enemy to fight. So the loss of Owned is a bit sad in a way, because I think it was driving Twitch to do things even better. I'm sure they've got the drive and the ambition to still do that, but it always helps when you've got a competitor. The fact that they're so successful at what they do right now and what they're delivering for us, yeah, I'm not so sure we do need television. I think we need it in terms of the odd mention. It would be nice to see at the end of Sky Sports News a brief clip of, and today at the Intel Extreme Masters, Grubby won against Nurture. That would be fantastic. Do we need television to come and cover these events in the same way that we cover it live? No, absolutely not. You're right, it's a niche audience. I think we accept that it's a niche audience now. We didn't 6 years ago. We were very much like, how do we grow this niche audience? Now we're not really a niche audience. We're starting to approach the numbers that advertisers and TV companies start to get excited by. 300,000 plus is like a small television show in the UK on BBC Two or Channel 4. So we're now hitting those numbers on a regular basis. They're going to come to us for advertising, and we're going to tell them how to do it. And the likes of the BBC and ITV are just starting now to go, hang on, the kids of today, the 16 or 24-year-olds, they don't watch TV anymore. They watch iPlayer and they watch other stuff, and they don't like watching that. So how do we tap into that? And we're already there. We've already got the technology. We have the technology.
So, last question.
Sure.
You've got to settle an argument for everybody out there, right? And I've got to ask you it. Who is the best shoutcaster of all time? And right now, who is the best upcoming shoutcaster?
Ooh. Okay, so the best upcoming host has got to be Ifya. So she's not a caster, so I guess that's half a question. Best upcoming? That's difficult. I think I like Jason in League of Legends. I think he's got huge potential. I think Kalaris, I don't know if you can call him upcoming anymore. It's actually his 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's his 1 year anniversary.
From IEM, so I don't really think you can call him upcoming. I think Nate, that's been doing the second stream here for StarCraft 2, is actually really, really good. He needs a new headset, bless him, but he's been doing a really good job. So I'd probably call him out. Greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time. You're allowed to say yourself. I will allow it.
Ego's not that big, I don't think. I think for me, it's a very personal thing, and it'd have to be DJ Wheat. I mean, guy's a legend. I was lucky enough to work with him back in the day when we were doing radio and we weren't earning any money and paying stupid money to go and do tournaments. And I think between him and Tosspot and maybe D-Man and Joe, I think I probably stole a little piece of all of them and put it in my own commentary. So he was the first. He was the god for me.
All right, there you go. DJ Wheat, greatest caster of all time. So says ReDeYe, and
this is going to kill me now.
No, that's it. You're done. but look, always a pleasure to talk to you anyway, man. And I know you got to go back and do some hosting and all that other stuff. And I know not just hosting, by the way. He's the fucking big throbbing brain behind a lot of things that he doesn't like to talk about. So yeah. But anyway, all the people out there at cadred.org, do stay tuned to the website. We're going to have more interviews like this one, although perhaps not as jovial and filled with banter from here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Finals in Hanover.